So, Emiru got assaulted at TwitchCon, which is just another indication of a massive platform failure by Twitch.
I've been a streamer on Twitch for 10 years. I attended the very first or maybe the second TwitchCon ever in 2016, 2015. Yeah, like I understand back then it was different, but I feel like I know they say there's security upgrades, but it really feels like there's not. That's another thing. I could have fucking died yesterday. So I'm just gonna go through, from my perspective, what happened, what I saw, the order of events. So I show up at 4, I'm doing my meet and greet. This happened about 30 minutes into my meet and greet, so I was probably only like 20 to 30% done with my meet and greet. I was just taking a picture with someone else, like completely normal, nice guy. And then I see out of the corner of my eye, there's a guy walking around the side of the meet and greet, and he crosses in front of the meet and greet of the person to the left of me, which is a VTuber. So he's able to walk up and in front of another streamer's meet and greet, and then he walks up to me, and he's like walking with a purpose, you know what I mean? And he grabs me, but I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, but in my head, I'm like, it seems like he's supposed to be here, and then he leans in like he's gonna tell me something.
So, Emiru in the moment is here thinking like, oh, this must be Twitch staff, right? And so she's busy doing all this stuff, and she just thinks that because the guy is walking through, but he's doing it in such a confident manner that he must be there for a reason, for a real purpose. And I feel like there just wasn't any way for her to really see what was going to happen afterwards. And in some ways, I'm still kind of shocked that her security guard didn't intercept this earlier, because he comes from like the same direction that that the guy had come from. And another thing is that, you know, she doesn't have that much security with her, so they can only look out for so many things, and like all it really takes is just for like a moment to be distracted. But I don't want to blame the security guard that she had in any way. Like, he did end up intervening, and he did a lot more than Twitch people did, that's for sure. I think it's just this momentary blip. You know, if you only have one guy guarding the side area of the booth, supposedly, then, you know, yeah, there is going to be a lapse in what he can see and what he can judge. And unfortunately, you know, with Emiru being distracted and doing her job, she's not focused on like why the fuck this like strange guy is walking over to her. She just thinks that, oh, he must be staff. But it does make me wonder, does official TwitchCon staff ever come around, like, I don't know, in plain clothes like that? Because if they do that, they seriously need to get like some kind of like uniform or something. Like, I know even uniforms can be copied and stuff, but this whole thing is just like, it's so scary to think that this could have just happened to anyone.
So in my head, I'm like, maybe it's like TwitchCon staff like coming to let me know something, because like sometimes it'll happen where you're at an event and someone will like come up to like let you know something, you know what I mean? But I'm still like freaked out because he grabbed me. That's not normal. And then he grabs my face and he leans in and lips puckered tries to kiss me, and I start screaming. You can't hear it in the clip, but I'm fucking screaming my head off. And then my security, Twitch's security, is like nowhere near me, nowhere to be found. I can see them, but they don't do anything. My security jumps up and shoves the guy away from me and is like, get the fuck out of here. And he's allowed to walk away and leave. Yeah.
It's also the fact that like something like this situation in particular just should not have happened in any way, shape, or form. Like, I could imagine, like, listen, if someone comes to the con, they've never had any history of like bad stuff happening, and they sign up, they go to the meet and greet, they're standing next to the person, and they just decide out of nowhere, I'm gonna do something. And, you know, in some circumstances, there are things where it's like, yeah, shit, no one could have seen that coming. What are you to do? But this wasn't that kind of situation. This guy, Oh, I'm getting seriously heated about this. This was extremely avoidable on Twitch's end. And you know, later on in this video, I will actually bring up something in regards to Kick and a certain assaulter that bothered me like so much. And Kick's, I shouldn't have been surprised response to it, but anyway, we'll get there.
So then after this point, I did not see a lot of what happened here. This is just based off what people in the line told me. My friend Bonnie, who was there, told me, and Melissa, my manager, told me. So the woman who moved me away from the meet and greet was my personal manager. That was not Twitch staff. No one in Twitch staff came up to me to like see what was going on.
So in Emiru's statement, she goes on to say there are at least 3 to 4 TwitchCon security staff in the area who just didn't react at all.
My manager and Bonnie moved me to the back, and they're like hugging me and being like, do you want to finish your meet and greet, basically. And I was back there for like a minute, and I was like, you know what, like I want to finish it because like of all these people here that, you know, they're just nice, normal people. And I go back out there, and still there's no one from Twitch there. And the poor guy that I was taking the picture with originally, he's like fucking mortified, and he's like, what the fuck just happened? And again, no one from Twitch there. I say to this guy, I'm like, I'm sorry you had to see that. And he's like, no, like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Why am I having to tell the TwitchCon attendees and my fans, sorry you had to see that, and not like someone from Twitch or Twitch security? Anyway.
I also think to make matters even worse is the fact that right after getting assaulted and having this extremely traumatizing, horrifying thing happen to you, right afterwards Emiru was out there saying sorry to the fans because there was no one in sight. There was no other Twitch personnel to be there to be like, hey guys, something really fucked up just happened. That shouldn't have happened. We're very sorry. Like, Emiru was the one who had to do all that stuff. Like, that's unbelievable to me. They just let the guy walk away as evidences in the clip. And we can even see in other clips from other streamers this guy appearing in the background with the same gait to his walk, the same sort of clothes, and he's got the same way that he's like, you know, like she said, walking with some sort of like purpose. Guy's trying to get away. And you can even see, interestingly, in one of the clips, is that he conveniently covers his face as he gets closer to someone's camera at like the right second, almost like he's very aware that he's being recorded and that his face could show up and he's trying to like block his face. That's what I think anyway, in my opinion. Another thing that Emiru said is that no one from TwitchCon staff came to ask her if she was okay after the incident. Her friend who was present at the con, I think it might have been Bonnie or something, apparently told Emiru that Twitch security were behind Emiru's booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and they were laughing about the situation, just moved on from it like very quickly. So we can all wonder together, what exactly was the purpose of these staffers in the first place, if they're not even doing their fucking job? I don't expect them to fucking body slam the guy, but they weren't even making an attempt to contact or even to try and identify the guy, let, you know, other Twitch people know, maybe warn people that there's a guy out on the loose who just assaulted some potentially dangerous to other people. Yeah, anyway, this is all according to Emiru, anyway. So, continuing with Emiru's statement, she points out that Twitch blatantly lied about catching and detaining the stalker. She didn't hear anything about him getting caught until hours after he had attacked her, and to Emiru, she feels like the only reason anything was done about it was because her manager was pressing Twitch to take action, and from Emiru's perspective, TwitchCon staff present didn't seem to think it was a big deal. Can you believe that?
So I finished the meet and greet, and I was escorted back to my hotel by my one security guard.
So what happened after this whole incident occurred? Well, let's just say the I in Twitch stands for incompetency. Apparently, after the con was over, Emiru was escorted back to her hotel room by her security. She had her friends come over.
I let some of my friends know they come to my hotel to see me and spend time with me, like make sure I'm okay and everything.
Her manager contacted the police, said they would arrive soon, and for Emiru to make a statement, but when the police arrived,
about pressing charges, etc. They're trying to find the guy. They haven't found him.
No one knew who the suspect was or had any idea where. They had no idea where he was. And according to Emiru's own manager, who was upset with Twitch's mishandling at this point, Emiru's manager informed her that Twitch's initial punishment for this guy was going to be just a simple 30-day ban on the streaming website. Yeah. Let that sink in. Just a 30-day ban on the digital website known as twitch.com. I mean, at this point, I'm just inclined to believe Emiru and her manager above believing anything Twitch or anything Dan Clancy has to say about it. And to make matters worse, Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, and some other Twitch people were allegedly partying that very night. Emiru didn't say that it was Dan Clancy particularly, she didn't name names, but someone else found out, I think through a clip or something. I don't have it, so I'm gonna say allegedly. And like Dan Clancy is like, oh, Emmy, she's my best friend. No, not best friend. He just says Emmy's my friend, you know. But would you seriously go out partying that same night after finding out your friend got assaulted at your event? Like, Dan must consider his toilet to be his fucking friend if that's how you treat your friends. God. So one thing I want to clear up with Dave the security guard, if you don't know, Emiru had a favorite security guard named Dave, and he was banned from attending all future TwitchCons. He wasn't just banned from the venue where an incident occurred. That was in Las Vegas, as Emiru explained in this video. There was an incident where a guy was stalking Emiru, and Dave put his hands on the guy, or he like held his arm to keep him there for the police to arrive. And unfortunately, that resulted in him getting permanently banned. So I get that it's a liability for people's personal security to physically touch attendees, even if the attendee's been creepy and deserves it. I guess they just don't have that power to do that, right? So even though the guy didn't actually get harmed, they just can't risk the occurrence of like a Jack Doherty situation, if you know what I mean.
What are you talking to, dog? I'm just saying, y'all say just walk. Then walk.
You know, Twitch can probably get sued for that kind of stuff, I'm guessing. So they try to be very, or maybe the venue could get sued or something like that. There could be a lot of stuff there. So in some ways, it's like I unfortunately understand why Dave got banned, but I don't think he should have. And there's gonna be something really interesting later on in the video that will make you go, well, why did Dave get permanently banned? But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But yeah, like I guess that's the reason why you have like actual police at these events, because the police at least have the power to do like certain things, and personal security does not have those clearances. Like here in Australia, for instance, our public transport officers, they apparently do have the right to subdue people until police arrive, apparently. Although I've seen people say, you can just walk away. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I've never been in that position before, so I have no idea.
I'm like, what? Anyway, so at some point while I'm with my friends, a police officer comes and talks to me, interviews my manager, talks to my Twitch partner manager, who, by the way, she's so sweet, like she didn't do anything wrong here. So they also showed my manager some security footage of the area, and the guy was he was waiting for there to be a gap in security, and there was. He was able to walk through the side, not through like the 2 lanes of meet and greet people who had signed up and been like background checked for my meet and greet. So he was able to just walk through because there just wasn't like consistent security there.
And, you know, there was even another gap in security, as Emiru talked about, is the back of the booth wasn't secure in any way, shape, or form. Her manager was having to usher people out through the exit because, as we've said, the booth, you know, people enter the booth, they need an exit. People go through the exit and then they try to turn back going like, oh, my picture's not good enough. And her manager had to handle all of that. And then at one point, even Neon tried to enter the booth through the exit area. So yeah, the security really was not up to any degree of secure whatsoever.
So the way that the meet and greet worked is like people line up, they come through, they take a picture, then they're supposed to walk through the back and leave. There were people walking through the back trying to come up to my booth, and there was even like, I think it was fucking Neon, was able to walk through the back of my meet and greet, and was like, oh hey, like, can I come say hi? And it's like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, it was just horrible. Like, there was no thought put into it at all. And then today, this morning, I was told that Amazon flew in their global head of something to redesign the whole process and security of the con.
So then Emiru goes on to talk about how after this incident happened, Amazon did end up flying out their head of security to come and redesign completely the entirety of like the security measures of the event. They amped up some security, they added like more personnel, I think. This kind of starts like a whole thing where Emiru was like, oh, they offered me more security, but then she was like, dude, I'm good, whatever, man. And then I think some other people that she knows, they weren't really asked if they wanted to cancel their meet and greets. They weren't asked if they wanted more security. Some people might have been asked. I think at some point Fan was then given more security, but probably more for PR reasons than anything else. If you ask me what my opinion is, that's my opinion.
For the rest of the convention, why wasn't there someone like that here already? Or like they didn't do that beforehand? Like, hello? I guess the clip got posted. Again, thank God someone was filming, because otherwise I don't think Twitch would have said anything. My manager comes back to me and she's upset. She's like, okay, I've been talking to Twitch people and I'm really upset because I noticed a lot of negligence around the event and I'm not happy with the way that they're handling it now. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I asked them, you know, like, what are they gonna do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days. What? And then she's obviously like, hello? Like, that needs to be indefinite. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, that's like nothing to do with anything. No one gives a fuck if he's banned on Twitch or not. Like, we're talking about the convention here. So they change it to indefinite. Takes an hour for that to happen, by the way. These two people are the head of security for Amazon and the head of risk for Twitch.
I might as well tell you guys. Whoa, look at this BMW. I might as well tell you guys what the. I'm sorry. I might as well tell you guys what the fuck I actually did to get into the line. Hey, I snuck in. I don't know what else to say. I was in line waiting for the meet and greet, and I figured, well, I got some intel that that you had to make a reservation for the meet and greet in the beginning of October. I never did that. I just knew where I had to be, and I executed.
So if you ask me, I think security seriously needs amping up here, which I know everyone's already said. Even Twitch themselves said, yeah, we've increased security measures. If you ask me, someone like Emiru is probably a massive target for harassment, and it would make sense to me for bigger streamers to have maybe a lot more security measures in place. But however, I do think that at the end of the day, this could have happened to anyone of any size. And if you think about it, people of like smaller size, they can't spend $10,000 on security. They don't have the means to do that. So if anything, this whole situation has kind of made it seem like TwitchCon is just the place where you can go if you want to harass or assault like your favorite streamer, and all the better if they're a small streamer, right? And I'm just saying that in my opinion because this sets a very concerning precedent for future TwitchCons. Like, they said they've increased the security measures, they've stepped it up, but like Emiru said, it really doesn't feel like that's happened at all. And it really has to make you wonder if the increased security measures are just standing around like idiots laughing about an assault just happened, a crime that just happened. Emiru is pressing charges. This was a crime. It really makes you wonder, did they ever really increase the measures, or did they just say they did to make people feel better about going?
Social media. There's one question that has been coming up on social media, just in terms of safety and security at TwitchCon in light of recent events. So I want to be very clear. We take security at our events like TwitchCon extremely seriously. Every year, we build on a successful approach to TwitchCon safety and security, particularly as we become aware of new or emerging security or safety challenges.
Yes, apparently a new and emerging security challenge is the fact that someone can just walk right into a booth from the side because there was just no one securing the side of the booth, the back exit of the booth. This is a very new and emerging security threat that we, in our 10 years of doing this, we couldn't have seen this coming. It is really quite shocking, honestly. I don't know how anyone thought of it. Really, these people get more and more devious every single year.
So we have teams focused on this year round, including keeping creators and community members safe on Twitch or at TwitchCon. We have rules and standards regarding TwitchCon attendees that therefore follow. And we limit, for example, if people who've been indefinitely suspended, off-service violations, they're not able to attend. We also look for things that need to protect our streamers and any other issues.
And then we're meeting him up front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good, what?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just scan in, and then we're meeting him up front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good, what?
Yeah, you're good.
It does seem to me that ultimately what really needs adjusting is the laws, and I know that feels very relevant to a lot of things that are happening in the world today, but it's just fucked up to me that a security guard can do real work intercepting a known stalker who's probably threatening the individual, and it's like, well, if you hurt them, we could lose millions of dollars. The laws in regards to stalking in general need to be different, or they need to be taken way more seriously, because currently stalking is only ever taken seriously by the law once harm has actually been done. Usually fatal harm to the victim, so then it's too fucking late in it. In this particular case, the guy did physically grab and push himself onto Emiru, but imagine if he had a weapon on him at that moment. Again, I know the security thing and legality, blah blah blah, but I just felt so sad for her that they just let him walk off. Emiru fortunately made a video addressing everything that goes in hard. She goes in hard saying she doesn't believe Twitch would have made any tweets if it weren't for the viral video that that person had filmed and posted. I think we should all be very grateful to the individual who filmed the attack, actually. As extremely disturbing as it was to watch, and I had to watch it multiple times to write out this video and edit it, I'm glad that there's visual evidence for everyone to see that this shit happens, and as Emiru also mentions, it probably has happened so many times before to even smaller streamers that we don't know about, and, you know, Emiru mentions this a lot, and I think that that's very sweet of her to be thinking about all the other people who we don't know about, all the people who didn't get to have their say or be acknowledged for what they've been through. And so I'd like to take this moment to actually highlight another assault that happened last year at TwitchCon to NMPLOL and Wake Wilder. I just want to highlight that there was a male streamer who was sexually assaulted on camera last year at TwitchCon, and the person who attacked Nick licked his nipple and was also seen, I think, multiple times at the convention harassing more people. There's a video of him harassing like some casters for Halo Infinite, I think. He was harassing Mizkif, XQC, like he was just, it was a kick streamer just trying to make some fucking content for his stupid ass stream. And again, like when he was harassing the Halo casters, people start yelling for security and he runs away and nothing happens to him. It's like, it's almost like the security doesn't do fucking shit. And the fact that I think he was able to go like the entire TwitchCon without having any repercussions until he started to harass, I guess, like Mizkif. Like he started to really harass Mizkif, and there's like a video you can see of him getting cornered by a bunch of other people, like telling him to leave him alone, and then security comes by, and it's just like the fact that you have to do so much to get someone who's like constantly harassing people, it's unbelievable. Like, these people just go to TwitchCon to harass other people, and they're just making content out of it like it's like VR chat or some shit. So I do believe that Nick's assault was somewhat overshadowed by the news of Kick streamers going to harass Twitch streamers at a particular event. I do remember it being a big thing last year, but I never heard of Nick being assaulted. And the fact that it was on camera, you can see it all happen on camera. You know, Twitch didn't talk to him. They allegedly didn't contact him at all during the convention. Maybe they did afterwards, but like that really upset me a lot too, because you know, just because it's like a guy that it's happened to. I mean, I think Nick was like, it doesn't bother me, but even then, it's like, just because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean that it shouldn't be talked about. And I think he deserved a lot more compassion and attention to that. You know, like I think that's horrible that, you know, seemingly nothing was done about it. Like, how are you able to just go around? It was sexual assault. Let's just put it out how it is. It was sexual assault, and I even found a clip of Santa Maria, the guy who is the head of Kick, addressed the assaulter, said his name in a stream, and went, "I don't condone his actions, but I thought he was asking the right questions to the wrong people." I'm like, hello?
Yes, Twitch invited me. That's hilarious. Listen, I do not condone what did at TwitchCon. I do think he crossed a couple lines. I've said this before in the past. However, I do feel that DB was just simply asking to the wrong people.
Yes!
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he didn't know about the sexual assault aspect. Maybe he only saw the time when he was harassing the Halo Infinite casters, because he said on the microphone like, "Oh, Twitch staff should get paid. Twitch should pay their staff properly," or something. So maybe that's all Santa Maria saw, and he was like, "Yeah, he's asking the right questions." But this guy actually like sexually assaulted somebody, and all of his content is just like IRL streaming, harassing people and trying to get clips, really. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I was really put off by that. Like, I don't have much expectations when it comes to Kick and like the Kick people, but to give a sexual assaulter recognition like that, I genuinely think he should have ignored it, and I think that that person should be banned from the platform. They're not. They should be, because they're a sexual assaulter. They would not have done that sexual assault to Nick if he wasn't able to stream it, because he's streaming the entire time. He's just making content. You know, he's a Sam Pepper protege. But what did I expect from the platform known as Kick? It was really disappointing, to be honest. But yeah, just like Twitch, just like all the other ones, we shouldn't be surprised by now, but it doesn't mean we can't demand better action. So Nick even said himself, no one at Twitch checked in on him, messaged him, nothing at all. They probably didn't even tweet about it. They probably didn't even mention it. And even if they did tweet about it, they'd probably say, what of our humble, lovely creators that we oh so cherish very well was, they had a little bit of an incident with another Kick streamer. Oh my god, the Kick streamers at TwitchCon are terrible, isn't it? Anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to break that down and add that in, because I think in light of this whole thing with Emiru, I would like to let people know about this thing that happened with Nick, because I was actually really shocked that I didn't know about it. I was really shocked about that. And people didn't really talk about it. And even Emiru mentions the only reason I know about it is because Emiru mentioned it. How fucked up is that? So I'm not trying to steer the conversation away from Emiru at any means. We will be getting back to her stuff, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about.
So then we get a very unsubstantial interview from disgraced media journalist Taylor Lorenz, who is basically a glorified drama reporter, and Hassan Orbiter.
Do I think he should have gotten up and checked on Kaya? I believe that he did. If you keep watching, if you don't watch the edited clip, after like a minute or something, he does go and check on Kaya. I've lived with dogs like most of my life, and sometimes they yelp for random reasons. My old dog would like do that shit all the time. He would run into himself in the mirror and stuff. Like, you know, who knows? Dogs also just like, they scare themselves sometimes and yelp. It doesn't mean that the dog, like, that's not any sort of consistent behavior from this dog. Recognize that, you know, that essentially, like, don't just believe an out of context clip. Because that's what a lot of you guys are doing. It's like you just see a clip and you see somebody misrepresented and then you just believe it. And that's, I wrote about this and I have a video tomorrow on it. But like, I think that that's what's really scary when we think about this like video era of the internet. Yeah, don't believe your eyes, because again, you guys would fall for this is the whole, like, you say don't believe your eyes. Yeah, exactly. Don't believe your eyes. Believe actual journalism. Because the arguments that you guys are making are the same arguments and the same burden of proof that people use to argue that Donald Trump is currently, that there's a body double in place of Donald Trump or Joe Biden. That, because you know what they'll do? They'll blur up, you know, pictures, they'll blow up pictures, they'll change the opacity, they'll, you know, show out of context clips together. Like, that's the type of stuff that people do when they're trying to prove these conspiracy theories. What do people not do? Again, look at the actual caller, like talk to people that spend time with it, talk to the dog trainer, talk to people that walk the dog. Like, all of those people can vouch that this dog is not abused.
Writers for TMZ probably have way more respect and backbone than she ever could. So, for context, this is a side quest. Hold on. I do need to tell you about this, though. Oh my god. Taylor resigned from her job at the Washington Post, and she resigned following an incident where she took a selfie with Joe Biden in the background, writing in the caption and accusing Joe Biden of being a war criminal. Or she just said, war criminal, sad face. It was posted to her close friends on Instagram, and it was leaked. Who knows who it was leaked by? Obviously, Taylor Renz's close friends even find her to be fucking annoying. So, initially, Taylor denied ever having written the caption, and she tweeted, "You people will fall for any dumbass edit someone makes." But then later, she had to come clean about writing the caption because NPR confirmed the post was authentic because they asked people on her close friends list, or they just asked people that she knew. And they were like, yeah, I'm on her close friends list. Like, yeah, it's true. So then she changed her account of what happened. And she had also allegedly lied to the editors at the Post also, because they were also like, hey, Taylor, what the fuck is this? We can't have this. And so she was repeating this lie that someone else had edited the caption to the picture, allegedly. So in my opinion, I think she's a well-known liar. Who is currently defending Hassan with the incident recently with his dog Kaya. I mean, call me Kaya, because I'm shocked by that. So she also states, like, in one video, oh my god, where she's like, guys, don't believe your own eyes. Believe real journalism.
You say don't believe your eyes. Yeah, exactly. Don't believe your eyes. Believe actual journalism.
Believe real journalists. Like, can you be so fucking real, you fucking dumbass? So, she goes on to say that she left Legacy Media because no one understood her. She loves having an interactive relationship with her audience. She likes beefs. And with Legacy Media, apparently, her bosses just didn't get it. Sometimes a story comes, you gotta get it out, and her bosses just didn't understand that. So, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna become independent. I'm Taylor Renz, and, don't believe your own eyes. Believe journalists. That's just wanted to mention before getting back to the main story. That is side info I need you to know.
Securing this environment, you know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done because that's the world we live in now.
Demi had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, you know, it is very secure, but here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, you know, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there.
There's an obligation given to me, like to be a featured creator and to have my show. I had to do a meet and greet. which is true. I was told that I had to do a meet and greet, but as far as I know, there's some people that canceled. Regardless, I didn't cancel. I thought it was going to be fine.
Right, and so, you know, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do.
I was told that I had to do a meet and greet.
And what works for them, right? So I don't want to get into any, you know, specifics or details, but part of that is working with creators and, you know, trying to find, and right now we're definitely, you know, ramping it up to make sure creators know that we have the resources there to help them figure out what's right for them.
Now, rightfully so, a lot of people are actually very upset with Dan Clancy for this interview, and I think that this was a pretty, probably just more of a poor choice of words, saying that, like, oh, a creator's putting themselves out there, and it's like, well, who is making them put themselves out there? And, you know, like, if you're gonna say you have much better security, you need to show up with better security. And I just think it's the same thing with, like, I hate to bring it back to this, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to rag on about this, but Hassan and the shock collar, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, I'm gonna tell you what happened, and what happened is that we were not at fault, you know? It's like, she's a really popular creator, and she put herself out there, and, you know, like, sometimes there's just, like, challenges, unique challenges to the systems of security, and it's like, that's really not what happened here. It's really not. And it's just really quite shameful, I think, to treat this situation and do this kind of interview and address it in this kind of way. It's extremely shameful behavior and also very dismissive of what happened. And in a way, it feels like trying to rewrite history. And I'm just really, I don't think anyone is really hearing this and thinking, yeah, he's right about this. Like, this is a fat L. This is a Dan Clancy fat L interview moment, and I think he should be ashamed. Like, I guess, like, yeah, he's a CEO, he has to protect the company or whatever. This was terrible. This was terrible. And I don't think anyone is gonna watch this and think like, oh yeah, this guy, he knows what's up. He knows what's going on. He's the good guy. No, this is the example of the big corporation that will replace you in an instant. This is people who do not give a shit about you. They only care about their optics. They only care about their shareholders. I don't know if there's any shareholders when it comes to Twitch, but this is like the vibe that I'm getting, right? He does not care. They do not care. You are nothing but cattle to them. And that's what I think. So, in conclusion, I think that this sets a very scary precedent for the future of TwitchCons, because there have been so many clips of people finding insecurities within the TwitchCon operation, taking advantage of these opportunities to sneak into lines that they're not supposed to be in, they haven't been background checked for, people being allowed in when their pass doesn't work, and again, the entire situation with Emiru and NMPLOL screams that TwitchCon is not a safe place to be at, and in the future will not be safe, potentially. If we're going off the pattern that has been clearly displayed here, they also just don't give a shit. We have already heard time and time again, Twitch promised safer and more robust security forces, but clearly those actions are not reflecting those statements. And this is very serious because Emiru could have been seriously hurt, she could have been injured, she could have been killed before everyone's fucking very eyes. I know she's putting up a brave front saying that she's numb to this sort of thing, she's used to it, but having to face the possibility that you almost died for this stupid fucking event, to do this stupid fucking... Listen, the meet and greet itself is not stupid, it has a purpose, and I think it's nice to be able to meet, like, your favorite creators and stuff. The fact that, like, she was forced to do it. If she wanted to be a featured creator, she had to do a meet and greet. And the only reason she really came is because she went, look, I'm going to be doing a meet and greet, there's going to be a barrier, there's going to be security, how is anything going to happen to her? And she's also going to have her own security. Like, she thought all these things was going to make her safe, and she trusted Twitch to ensure that she was safe, and they fucking failed her. You know, facing your potential death, and the fact that the people you've worked with for over a decade just don't give a shit. That's enough to make anyone, dare I say, become black-pilled and nihilist, you know? It's enough to make anyone really reevaluate a lot of, like, their loyalties. I don't know. I don't know. I think that the point is that Twitch hasn't been doing enough to curb the threat of stalkers coming to TwitchCon, and we've seen time and time again that not enough is being done when these people do show up. When these people do show up, it seems like nothing really fucking happens. They were so quiet about Nick's very real assault, and I feel like that just says a lot about how they just handle these things. And I feel disgusted for both Nick and Emiru, and all the possible and probable victims that have never had their chance to be acknowledged.